Hello viewers, Harry Power here. We're here at Buckmore Park to practice ahead of round 4 of the Junior Pro Club later this month. We've just a practice and I was second slowest overall with a 51.3, which isn't that great of a lap. After 15 minutes we got put into a random grid and I started 7th out of the 21 racing. For me it was just to learn the track in the dry and to also learn where I should be defending, where I should be overtaking. But we're going to roll up now for a double file start and it's go, go, go. Down the turn 1 we go, pushing the number 10 ahead of us into turn 1, the fast right, just fending off my position from 8 on my left. Going into hairpin 1, taking more of a defensive line to make sure I'm not under attack. Now for the second hairpin I'm on the outside, trying to make it go around the outside. It's a little bit slippy on the outside. I do manage to make it stick, just running off onto the red bit a tiny bit. Coming through the left right now, holding it on the outside, through the inside, just barging through there, into Surtees now. Down the fast right, into the quick left, then downhill, having to brake early to get that nice run down into Garda. Running off the curb quite wide, going to the left, just dabbing onto the red part there. And seems that number 12 has got me on the exit of Garda, getting that better run. Now through Cafe Curve, you can see the exterior view there. Just taking a little bit of the curb on the right. Now coming, that's our first lap done. Stayed in the same position that we started in. Turn 1 and turn 2, that long right just really was not my corner. I couldn't link it up. Coming through into the hairpin, bit bouncy from the person in front of us. We get a better exit than them through hairpin 1 and hairpin 2. On their bumper through the fast left right. Trying to find a way past up into P6. Down into Surtees now, past the trees. Trying to get as close to the curb as we can, not that great there. Getting as close to the wall on the left, then braking slowly as we can, but the rear steps out there and we lose all of our run into Garda, having to go a little bit defensive uphill. Now down back the hill, up to Cafe Curve now. Onto lap 2 of the race now with 12 minutes to go. Just trying to follow the number 12 car. Linked that first curb up, but just carried too much speed and went quite wide there. Now back to hairpin 1, car ahead of us, bumping quite a bit. We get the better run, we're going to send it down the inside and hold it out of hairpin 2. Great move from me, quite aggressive, and defended it straight after. Now my main goal today was to learn where to overtake, how to defend and where to defend, and also the line, because Buckmore may seem like a simple track, but you've got to find your braking points, what you're meant to be doing, if you're lifting, you're braking, and also where you should be going, because some corners, they like turn 1 for example, it looks like it should be quite a bit of braking, but you can take it with a lift. In most carts at least. This cart didn't really like it. I usually had to give it a bit of braking. And as you can see, it's a little bit wide through hairpin 1 and into hairpin 2. You just had to kind of use all the curb. Like curb around here was very important to get the cart out the corner and to exit really well and get it rotated. Otherwise, the cart would just kind of bog down and you wouldn't get any speed out of it. And as you can see, the downhill also, you have to brake quite early. You usually don't really think that on the downhill or the uphill it really affects your braking, but it really does. And also the compression and the elevation, it doesn't really look like much on camera, but Garda, it's like when you're standing up at the bottom, the apex of the corner is where your head is. It's so tall and that curb is huge. If you go over it, you get all out of shape and it just ruins your exit onto the pit straight. Again, following number 12, trying to find a way through. We want to gain a position or two, hopefully. We've had a good battle so far, but we do have some people closing in on behind us. A little bit wide and not hitting the apex, but getting all close to the wall on the left. Again, just not wide enough and not braking early enough, just losing all rotation, all revs, all momentum of the cart. Again, getting on that curb, getting on the power nice and early. Coming down through Cafe Curve, very close to the barriers on the left and using all that curb on the right. Run it all the way to the left, a little lift, and just dab that apex or curb, whatever you want to call it. Then come over. Number 12 did abuse the track limits a little bit, I found. You're only really allowed 50% and he kind of used the entire kart. Again, he's a little bit wide. He couldn't really get the apexes right. I think he was braking either too late or not braking enough. But Surtees was a very... I love the corner, but I cannot get it. It's a very confusing entry and a very confusing exit out of it, as all the corners have their all different ways of executing them. You have to lift, brake, make sure you're in the right position to do it. If you get one bit wrong, that's the entire run of that section of the track gone. Now coming on to another lap of this race. Starting to get better at lap 1 and lap 2, but you can see the number 12 starting to just get out of our grips, but he's made a mistake. He's all over the rumble strip on the exit. We managed to catch up. It went from 5 kart whips to about 2 now as he's run wide again. He's found just trying to learn what he's doing, where his mistakes are. I found that he's very, very slow through here. I go for an absolute send, way too late on the brakes, way too heavy on them, almost spin out, and that ends up with me having to go left and not hit the curb, otherwise I would have broken my neck, but had to make avoiding action, otherwise I would have probably got a penalty for that, and you don't want a penalty on your first day here. I don't think anyone likes the idea of that. But the number 12 just getting past us because of that. Just thinking, where should I go for a move again? Quite hesitant, the number 12, on steering. Thought, might as well go for a little send. Went very wide there, the kart. And I just shut the door. Just go a little bit defensive, go to the inside, just to shut the door even more. Just to lock it and throw the key away. But very wide into Surtees. And also then very kind of narrow into the downhill here. Almost having to take avoiding action again. Just taking a defensive line and pushing the car all the way to the inside and then swerving back to the left to take a normal racing line. Number 12 does get through though in the end as we come down the main straight now. Just getting in the slipstream. We are gaining, but it's simply not enough to send it into turn 1. Very wide through turn 1 though. Don't know really what happened, but we were very strong on the brakes in this part of the track, gaining a lot on the number 12, but usually got away in the faster section of the track. I think this kart kind of lacked in the high speed. It simply just didn't really like turning at high speed. And the number 12 again, very out of shape, decided to just go for a send. Perfect on the curb there, getting all sorts of close to the curb, taking inside line just to shut the door, make sure he wasn't going to go for the counter attack, and we do shut it quite well. Coming through the cafe curve, just trying to get the best exit we can. Kart was a little bit kind of tight on the exit of cafe curve. Just trying to get some good laps in, but I get pushed from behind unfortunately from the kart. I don't know if that's just my kart being slow and he was close to me, or if that was just giving me a nudge to get me out the way. But that's racing. Unfortunately some people are like that. Now, I'm not saying he was like that, but it's a shame because now it kind of ruined my flow. Dirt all over the tyres really, and that was pretty much the end of my race. So I finished 8th, as you will see in a minute. They just slowly start to gap me, and so we do have someone in front of us, as you can see. I don't know really what happened, but a few laps earlier they were wide on turn 1 and they just kind of sat there and then started to go. Does say on the position counter P6, but we did come P8, which is a shame, but it was my first time in the dry here, first time in these karts here, and I think, to be fair, it was quite a good result considering what a mess my lap times were and my overall pace. So it shows my race pace is better than just practice pace in general.